Welcome to West USA Weekly, the podcast, your go-to source for everything real estate in Phoenix, Arizona. We're breaking down market trends, local insights, and the moves that matter most to Valley agents. Interviews, tips, and the latest from one of Arizona's top brokerages, all in one place. Let's dive in.
Good morning, West USA. Welcome to another edition of our Monday morning podcast. Appreciate everybody joining us today, and let's just go ahead and get rocking and rolling. A little sneak peek. What we got coming up, of course, we got Todd Menard here to give us a look at the numbers, the Mortgage Minute update by the Frederick team. We got Amy in the house to give us that. I'm going to share 3 holiday communication tips, and then Todd's going to stick around. Well, he always sticks around. Never can seem to get rid of him.
I know.
But Todd's going to stick around, and we're going to talk about business planning strategies. And I know you got a big class coming up.
I do. That's going to be tomorrow, but you'll see that in the slide deck in just a minute, I hope.
Yeah, I think so. That's how I knew.
Oh, you read them?
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
cool.
I see. I don't read them. I see them.
Oh, see.
All right. As always, if you got any comments or questions, please feel free to email us at podcast@westusa.com. All right. This morning, we have a blood drive going on till 2 o'clock up here at the corporate office. So I'm assuming it's not too late to sign up for it.
No, there's still a few slots. So if you're interested and you're in the area, we'd love to have you. Click on or scan that QR code at the bottom and get yourself signed up and do some good this holiday season.
Or just call 602-942-4200 and ask for, well, just tell them you're coming.
No, use the QR code because there's the Red Cross has to go through the facilitation of filtering out all the things. And Michaela's amazing. She can't do that.
Yeah. And if you're watching it tomorrow, this is Tuesday for you.
You
missed it.
Yeah,
All right.
Thanks.
All right. We've got a CE class coming up in person at the Chandler office tomorrow between 1 and 4 p.m. This is get 3 hours of fair housing. This is all about Section 8 housing. All right. There you go, Todd.
Hey, got a slide in there. Look at that.
Look at that. Tuesday, tomorrow, between 10 and 12 p.m. at the Mesa office. And so you're going to really get into the nitty-gritty and the details of building your 2026 business plan. And then if you wake up tomorrow and at the end of tomorrow, you're like, I have not had enough of Todd. We got a CE class. This is going to be virtual, 3 hours of legal issues. Again, this is virtual. And all of these events are open to all agents from across the valley. If you're with West USA, all you got to do is go to your dashboard, click on the calendar link, and you can get signed up for any of these events. And if you're not and you want to attend, just go to westusacalendar.com, and that'll take you to, well, our calendar. All right, the power of credit and maximizing your credit score. This is a class going on Thursday, December 11th from 10 to 1 p.m. at the Scottsdale office. So it's good class, a good opportunity to really be able to talk intelligently with your clients. Do not tell them that you are a credit repair expert, but they will point you in the right direction. All right, so we got another business planning workshop for real estate agents coming up Wednesday from 10 to 12 p.m. This is going to also be at the Scottsdale office. So we got a QR code there that you can scan to get signed up for it, or again, go to the calendar. And this is a big week, Nick. Boys Burger Club, 8 years. 8 years.
Been a lot longer. It feels like a lot longer than that.
It does. It does. It was 8 years yesterday. Yeah. So it was on a December 7th, 8 years ago. We founded the Boys Burger Club. But not only are you going to get an incredible burger, fries, and soda for $10, that alone, that's an amazing
Those are
deal.
8 year ago prices.
Yep.
But
we are partnering with Carlos Cicero's group, and we are collecting blankets for hanging on to hope. It's going to benefit victims of domestic violence and abuse. And if you, for some reason, can't attend on Thursday, which all agents are welcome, definitely feel free to bring some blankets to your office and send it over to the Chandler office.
100%.
All right, Todd, take it away. What's going on in the market these days?
Well, thanks, everybody, for joining us. Today, we're going over the market statistics for the greater Phoenix metropolitan area for the week ending December 8th, 2026. Let's see what we got. 82 days closed on market this past week, a 4.04 month supply. Absorption rate was at 24.75. Average list price this past week, $762,239. Average sale price this past week, $657,766. And our list price to sale price retention at 97.11. Active inventory declined a little bit. 24,660 units are currently available. Pending is sitting at 3,379 and closed units at 1,378. Looking at new listings taken this past week, it's not bad. 1,667 listings. That could have been a lot worse than that. But again, this is the holidays. Days on market for active is at 92 and closed is at 82. Notice how close those are together. Taking a look at the price ranges, you can see in red those price ranges that did have a contraction this past week in the number of units available. And for the total, our $0 to $600,000 pricing represents 68.07% of the entire market. And our $600,000 to $1 million price range is at 18.57, a little bit of a contraction there. And our $1 million and up market is at 13.36. So taking a look, I will tell everybody later, probably Thursday at the latest, the month-end market statistics will be coming out for the month of December, so keep an eye out for those on your closed Facebook groups. But here we go. So taking a look at new listings, last year we did 1,612, 2 years ago 1,400, this year 1,667, same week. What that's just saying is that this, as we've been talking about the delay in the summer market, really not showing up until August, this is still continuing. So the market is not off. There's no off switch that's going on right now. The market is still there. So let's not keep our heads in the sand. Looking at active inventory, 24,660 units. We had 21,789 last year. So we're about 13% more inventory. As we get into the good markets and the markets are sustainable, the dramatic differences between the market, the inventory 2 years ago or 3 years ago to today is going to, that number is going to become much smaller because of a much more stable market that we're going into. But that is comprised of 417 properties in the coming soon category, 18,386 in the single family non-distressed, 2,735 new home construction, and 24,235 overall non-distressed properties. Taking a look at pending, this is where we gauge the number of buyers in the marketplace. 3,379, 3,500 last week, 3,000 last year, 27. So we've got, if you look at this, we have 800, somewhere between 400 to 800 more people in escrow right now than we did this same week last year, or 2 years ago for that matter. So the market is good. People are entering into escrow. Sure, some properties are not making it through escrow, but a majority of them actually still are. So 1,378 is where we are month to date. Last year, we were only at 1,290. This is for December. So again, first week of the month, we can't really tell. But to start off with a green number, that's actually pretty nice. 4 month supply is another good sign. It's a good sign that the market's continuing to heat up. If you watch over the last 4 months, these have been going from a 5 months of 4.8 months supply, and now we're getting down to 4. Remember, under 4 is a seller's market, over 6 months supply is a buyer's market. So we are firmly on the doorstep of potentially returning into a seller's marketplace. Looking at median sale price at $495, that's a jump. So we're going to kind of take a look at why that took place. But if you look at the average sale price, we jumped from $563, and this is only this past week. Remember, week over week, but we jumped from $563 to $657, which is really going to move that middle part of the card deck up a little bit. And I think that's why that happened. We'll see next week if it returns. Taking a look again, market is pretty stable. It has been at 80 days, but what's been happening is our inventory for active has been coming down. So instead of having longer inventory taking longer to sell, it's not those properties that are coming on the market aren't taking longer to sell. They're selling with, and closing within that 80 to 90 day frame. And the last number for this week is list price to sale price retention. Sellers gave up a little bit more, but it's still 97. So you're still in that 2 to 3% discount from the list price at the time the offer's submitted. So you have to think about that. I'm going to stay on this one until I hear people doing it in the marketplace. We're also going to have to check MLS list price to sale price retention in the community that you're about to put the offer in on, and then also check to see what the seller paid concessions were, because you really need those two numbers, Mike. We talk about that all the time. So those are the numbers for the week. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. We're going to slide everything over to Amy. Amy, welcome to the big show.
Well, thank you for having me.
That's
on the
good.
big
Always
show.
great to have you.
I appreciate that.
We
That
like-
was really great information.
Thanks.
Hearing that. I always appreciate hearing your stats. And
Well, he's on every Monday.
every Monday.
Every Monday you can
Every
tune
Monday.
in.
Almost
And
every
Wednesdays at 9 a.m. for our remote CE classes. So.
Good job.
Yeah. Well, good morning, everybody. So we are seeing rates still really holding strong at those low sixes. I was going back and I was looking at what rates were at the beginning of the year and the difference in people's mentality right now when they're going to buy a home. You know, at the beginning of the year, it was so much, what's my rate going to be? What's my rate going to be? I want a lower rate, or I'm waiting for rates to drop before I buy. The conversation with buyers now has really shifted away from what are rates and what is my rate going to be to is the payment affordable. That's all they care about. They want to get into a home. They know that rates are what they have been, and they've gone down almost a whole % since the beginning of the year. So it's definitely a great way, I feel like, to end the year. There's people are coming out of the woodworks. There's a lot of business out there to be gotten, and these rates are.
So it's a great point because it's a good talking point with people when your buyers are really concerned about rate. Of really, I like that. Just shifting it to, let's talk about what kind of payment you want, what kind of payment can you afford, and then let's reverse engineer it and see what kind of price point that we're looking at.
Absolutely. We're not even starting with the rates anymore. We're just talking about, their comfortability, their affordability, and going from there. So we have seen about 21 basis points this week lower. So we're heading in the positive, keep heading in the positive direction. So there's our rate sheet. So I'm sure you guys have already seen that last week the FHFA announced that the new baseline for conforming loan limits is increased 3.26%. So now it's $832,750.
Yep.
What this means for you guys as agents is now your buyers can go more into like the jumbo style home, have a higher loan limit without having to get a jumbo loan. They can still just qualify for the conventional loan. So it went from $806,500 to the $832,750.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a good number. We all just got to make sure that we have memorized it and know it. And it's great. And it's great social media material.
No,
I mean,
that is.
Right.
you know, I mean, talk about a good Christmas message.
Yep.
Right. And if anybody that's listening wants something for their socials for that's compliant, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to make you something so you can put it on your socials and announce that. So we all know when the limit goes up, buyers get more purchasing power without having to be pushed into that jumbo loan. So lower interest rates, it's about 1% lower to just do a conventional loan than to jump into that jumbo loan. Also lower down payment options. You can still do just the 3% on that. Higher loan amount, more flexible underwriting, and more accessible options for first-time buyers. So good news. I think so. I mean,
That's
who
great
doesn't
news.
want-
Yeah, that's great news.
Yeah, I like hearing when I really do, Mike. I'm just going to double down on Mike's point or your point and Mike's comment, which is just how important is it when the consumer's finally making that shift? You know, when you and I are trying to tell the consumers that's an uphill battle, you know, and yet now what you're seeing, and you know, thankfully, is that the consumers are really embracing that. It's really kind of the same thing. I mean, I can hear in the background somebody going, "Well, yeah, well, of course, monthly payments to be comfortable, you got to have a lower interest rate." Sure, I get that,
Right.
but the point is the consumers off the waiting for it to be 5.5% thing, and you know, oh, it's going to be 5.5. The crystal ball says in 3 months. So you wait 3 months, and the prices went up 20 grand. How did that help?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Amy knows she does
Christmas.
have a crystal ball, and she knows when rates are going to hit 5.5.
Do not put that out there. No. I do.
Why? 'Cause
Do you
you don't want
remember
people
2
calling
years-
you, or you don't have one?
No, I don't want to be wrong. Do you remember 2 years ago this time, though, and interest rates were 8%?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
was a fun time.
self-reflecting. That's a good point.
All righty. So
that was a fun time.
all right, Amy. So appreciate it, and we got you guys' information right there. So again, if you want some social media, materials and things, Amy's team would be happy to help you out. I think it's something that I'd like to see. I mean, we just got to get the word out.
Totally.
People don't know.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Great conversation with people.
And hopefully we'll see some of you guys at the blood drive and the CE class on Wednesday and Boys Burger Club.
Yep.
So a lot of fun things this week. So thank you.
well, it's a good thing that we're doing the blood before the Boys
Today.
Burger
I was
Club,
just gonna
right?
say,
Yeah, because you don't want to roll into the Thursday afternoon with a quarter pounder down you and
Or
fries.
a holiday party the night before.
Well, I think I might bring some pizza for the blood drive this afternoon for
Nice.
Oh,
the
okay. Well, then-
afternooners.
all right, then I
so-
might stop by.
Yeah, thank you.
All righty, appreciate it, Amy. Good
Thanks,
stuff.
Amy.
All righty, jumping into the 3-pack. I think last week we talked about CRM management and just kind of building out that plan and making sure that you connect with everybody in your database. And obviously you can't pick up the phone and call every single person in your database unless you have 20 people in your database. And then
There's your sign.
there you go. So we want to talk about, so the next step, what are some creative things that we can do as far as getting ready for the end of the year? So the first one is, I love this, and I do this via text. I love video text, but obviously we can put together a video and put it into our CRM and blast out and so forth. But just, break out your phone. It doesn't need to be fancy. You don't need to go into a studio. Put on a funky Christmas, Santa hat on or whatever the case is, and just make a Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas video, thanking your clients. And I'll do several of them. One will kind of be towards people that, for my clients that aren't married. Some will be, for couples. Some will be for people that we've done business with, thanking them for trusting us this year and so forth. And then I'll just spend some time just texting them out and blasting them out. And I feel like it does. It stands out. It's a little bit more personal than a Christmas card. Nothing wrong with that. No. But I get a lot of positive feedback when I send out my video texts.
There's a friend of mine I have a couple. For such a long time. Yeah,
and two of them are here.
Yeah. Thank you.
So who's the third?
Thank you for adding me to your list. And so but he came to me once, and he would always call me for a happy birthday, and I thought that was really nice. Takes time out of his day to physically have a conversation with me, not just a LinkedIn or a Facebook thing. But lately he's been doing these little videos, and he just turns his camera around, does something sometimes really corny, which is kind of his and my relationship, is the fact that I'm the analytical one. He's always the funny one. And so, and he'll do something.
You're talking about me and you.
Well,
it sounds like our relationship.
Really does, actually, Mike. But anyway, so David Ryder, if you're out there, that's for you. But anyway, the thing is that he did that, and I just thought when it popped up and it just automatically came on, it was like I was FaceTiming him at first, and it kind of caught me off guard, and I had to think, did I hit on to FaceTime or something to accept the call? But it was just it was a heartfelt message. But here's the thing, he used my name in it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't one that he just did and then started sending to 100 people for happy birthday. Mm-hmm. He just, the point that I'm trying to make, I guess, is that video's great. It feels good to get it. But Mike, it's also, you can do one and send it, but you're not doing it again to your whole 3,000 people in your database. Mm-hmm. You're picking the people, the top 12, the top 20 maybe.
Well, that's why I say I have several videos.
Yeah.
There's some more personalized. If I'm going to send one out to 1,000 people, I can't customize it, by name and so forth. But that's why we said last week, you kind of break out that the different levels of who's who. And this is also back to that birthday thing. That's one of the reasons, one of the few reasons, maybe the only reason I like Facebook. But every day you get those alerts and I know whose birthday it is, and I go through them and I'll just break out my phone and do it real quickly, send someone this person a video text and so forth.
Yeah, the Facebook birthday thing is always interesting. I don't know what your guys' opinions are. My opinion is that if I have your cell phone number, I'm going to text you on your birthday instead of posting on your Facebook page. Right. I feel like it's a little more personal. Yes. And that's what kind of this is. You're taking time out of your day, and right now, that's a big deal. I mean, most of the Facebook stuff that you see, it's a lot of HBD. If you're going to go on someone's wall and put HBD instead of writing out happy birthday, no one's that busy. Write out happy birthday. Show a little intention behind what you're doing. Doing a message that's a video that can be a little personalized, but it doesn't have to be for everybody, and I think that's a good point. You've got your filter. You've got who you're going to hit the mass message to, and then who you want to make it a little more personalized to. I think that's really important, and it goes a long way for people right now who are just getting maybe a text. Video has become a big deal, and I'm not a big FaceTime person. I've got siblings that are 30 years old. They're always on FaceTime. They don't want to pick up the phone and call somebody, but if they know you, they want to do a FaceTime call with you, which I find kind of interesting. So this video just kind of lines right up to it.
Yep. Number two, share year-end market insights. Todd, obviously every single Monday you spend so much time kind of, if you listen and if you tune in on Mondays, you got an idea of what's been going on all year long. And there's some great resources out there. I love just not going to Flex MLS, but I love going to, armls.com.
Yeah. Most
There's
people don't even know that's there.
just go to armls.com. Some incredible. I mean, you can break
Weekly,
down
month-end
numbers
data.
by
Yeah.
zip codes and things like that. But put together, a little end of the year highlight of because people care about it. And people want to know what's going on in the market, what has been going on the market. What are and now, you got to be careful in predictions, but people want to know what I think is going to happen next year. And if you preface it with, this is what I think, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but people want to hear it, and people want to hear it in a very simple way. So put together a report. It could be 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. I don't think you could do that.
Wait till you see the slide.
Yeah, I did.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
But put together just this is what happened in real estate in 2025, and this is as your real estate agent, this is what I think is this is what I'm personally expecting in 2026, and really get some engagement.
And if you've only had your license 2 years, then you can use last year's data in comparison with this year's data and sound like a rock star. So in other words, and you don't have to be the one that's even gather the information, be the source of the source type of thing. But like I'll go to Eller School of Business school down in U of A and sign up for the Arizona economy. I'll go to Arizona State University over the real estate department and sign up for, late breaking news and Forbes, because Forbes has a college over there too. So I get it from a lot of, Lawrence Yun. So when somebody hears me speak, it's easy for me to challenge those numbers based on what I see in Arizona happening versus what these national people say. But the other part of that is that I get to kind of rewrap it in the way that I want to say it. And then it sounds like it's coming from me, but I always say this information is coming from the top 3 or 4 economists that I listen to. And if somebody challenges me on those, I can give them the people.
Yep.
And I think that's the important part.
Yeah, and I think,
Validity.
on that point, I would say Google Alerts are really important. They're very helpful.
yeah.
You can read through a lot of different articles, and you can specify Arizona real estate, Arizona market, so that you're looking for Arizona state things, not national. And then it just gives you that ability to have that conversation. I was at 2 different events this weekend. I don't really get into what I do for a living with friends and people we hang out with. I just say I'm in real estate. So people just assume that I'm a realtor. The amount of people that asked me yesterday, what was this year? What are we looking at next year for buying and selling a home? It was insane. I don't talk a lot about it. They just know Nick's in real estate. And so these people are coming up and having this conversation. If you're not getting yourself out into events in your neighborhoods, in your communities, you're missing the boat on this. Social media is one thing, but people still want to have conversations. And December is the best place and way to do community events. And it's not that expensive. We had a bounce house, and it wasn't even a real estate thing. We just set up a bounce house in a cul-de-sac. We had a grill out. We were barbecuing hamburgers and hot dogs. We had 80 people come through, just hanging out in the neighborhood. It was not that big of a planning thing, and it's a beautiful day in Arizona. People are going to come out.
I've got to do it.
Yeah,
I said I wasn't going to do
I
it.
can't believe.
Yeah.
All right.
How many times did you get extracted out of the bouncy house, Nick?
As soon as I said bouncy house,
Yeah, it was coming.
only once.
All right, and then hey, if you're holidays, I don't do a lot of Popeyes, but if you're into Popeyes, there's a lot of creative things, and I'm telling you, you can Google this. You could probably go on. I know you can go like on Instagram and look this up, and I'm sure you can do ChatGPT and so forth. But identify, going through your database of who you want to connect with, who would it benefit you. For you to have just 5 minutes, whether it's at the door or get inside the house and have a conversation in planning for 2026. And this would be who I would be doing the Popeyes for. Who do I think in my database could transact in 2026? They're low cost. They can be high impact. I mean, there's a gazillion different Popeye ideas. But I personally love, because they're so darn cheap, but I love the pumpkin pies from Costco. And the reason that I like the pumpkin pies from Costco is they are something that you cannot leave at somebody's front door. They are perishable, right? And so this is a great way to say, hey, I'm stopping by. I want to, drop off something that can't be left at your front door. And now you're almost guaranteed to get inside the house.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have a lot to add to that. Maybe Nick does, but I will say this part is that, be careful. You can, if you're a funny person, it's okay to do something really cheesy because it comes across as humorous and lighthearted. It's easier, people will remember it longer. Like where's the beef? Corny, but yeah, still worked. But so it's less about what you give them. That has to be really cautiously thought of. But again, let's go back to just the opportunity to actually put your hand, shake somebody's hand, see them eye to eye. That's really where they call that prospecting. I know that's a word that came out of the 1920s.
The P word.
Yeah. But the thing is that that's anytime you can have a direct face-to-face conversation with people. And of course, I'm not talking about FaceTime.
And who can get annoyed? Who can get mad if you're stopping by? I mean, there's one thing if
give
you're
them something like
stopping
that.
by to sell them solar. Sure. I get that. But you're dropping, but friends don't let friends buy solar. But you're dropping off a pie. Who can get mad?
I had a solar guy stop by my house last week, and I literally told him that's a common thing on our pod. He got really offended by it. He was real sad.
I love the solar
Way
guy.
to go, Nick.
He was a very nice young man, and I think I told him he should get in real estate. He's a great salesman. If you're not checking in on those that have transacted with you this year, last year, this is a really good opportunity to do that. I know we get into a situation where we don't reach out, and now 6, 8, 12 months have gone by, and we have that shame, I didn't do a good enough job. Brush it off. Go pick up something that you can drop off because that person is going to enjoy it. And just stop by. Hey, I didn't do a great job this year keeping in touch, and I'm sorry about that. I hope you guys had a fantastic year. I'm going to do better next year. I just wanted to drop this off and hope you guys have a fantastic end of year and happy holidays. And just own it and then just move past it. But if you're not stopping by these individuals who trusted you with a transaction in the last 12 to 24 months, you're doing your business a disservice. Shake off the shame, get over there, and say hello.
Do you know, just to cap on that, Nick, that was brilliant because the biggest issue with people is we don't re-communicate with people after we close the deal. It's easier for us to go buy another lead than it is to stay in a relationship. And some people think, well, why? That client's not going to re-engage for another 5 to 7 years, right? Whatever the trade cycle is. But the reality is they bump into like-minded people in similar income brackets. They bump into family. They might even themselves, to Mike's favorite topic, be interested in investing. And if you don't have those conversations, think of all the business you're leaving on the table.
100%.
I personally don't ever. I'm not one of those agents that ever ask for referrals. I don't have it on my subject line. I don't have it on my business cards and so forth. But when I meet with my clients, and we meet with our clients on a regular basis, to kind of go over their portfolio and even if it's just one house, how did the house perform over the last 6 months? That's the one time I ask and say, okay, who else do you know that could benefit by learning how to make money in real estate? And
in the largest investment or the biggest blue collar retirement source of income.
And to your point, why should I? They're not going to transact for another 5 to 7 years. I mean, divorce happens, death happens,
Babies
pregnancies happen. That's because we all have had I always talk about first time. We all have had our first time where you call that client because you didn't check in properly to only find out that they sold and bought,
Yeah.
So anyways,
Real quick before we move on, I just want to clarify. For the text messages I'm receiving currently, I appreciated all the birthday wishes that I received on my Facebook page. I was simply trying to start a conversation based on texting with the podcast. So if you did wish me happy birthday on Facebook, I appreciate it. And those that are texting me now, I appreciate as well. Please don't take any negative from my comment.
yeah, I would definitely take that as a negative.
It's not what I meant.
Well, you know what?
I love all of you.
This last section of our thing today is going to be all about building your business for 26. So let's keep talking about that just for a second, because George Washington Carver, it's one of my favorite quotes, says if you do the common things in life in an uncommon manner, you'll attract the attention of the world. And granted, that might have been a comment for a different aspect of what was taking place in his life at the time, but using it today, if you think about it, if you're just hitting that pre-entered birthday wish that comes with, so what I do is I rewrite one, and then I always make sure I just leave the person's name in it so that it knows that I took it, and again, I'm giving my secret away. So now if you get one of mine and it's really, really nice, I only did it once and I sent it to 30 people, but no, I think that really attaches the personalization.
Well, if I'm not, so what I do, if I'm not going to do a video, because I know that all the happy birthdays, they just get buried. And so, but when it's somebody's birthday, and if I'm not going to do a video, I'll just do a direct message on Facebook. And
That's
just,
always better too.
it's always better because it just shows you just took that extra moment.
Has anybody, okay, so let's be honest. Has anybody ever, right, that you feel obligated to reply to that birthday thing, right? Like, thank you, or, heart or something, right? To every single one that you get, most of you, probably somewhere in the 200-ish range by the end of the day. And if you think
next year, Nick's getting about 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna get 0.
no, he's
No,
not
you'll
going
get
to
about
get 5 million just because everybody's going to do it just because he said that.
Everybody do it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just confuse everybody on Nick's Facebook page.
Priceless. That's priceless. All right, everybody. Well, thanks. So I have a class coming up tomorrow in Mesa from 10 to noon, and I don't like it when it doesn't reach a lot of people. I like when I can help more than one person. I put 2 people in a room, use the same hour or 2, and have twice the results. You put 10 people in the room, you expect 10 times the results. Not everybody's going to do it, but when you're doing it something like we're doing today, and it kind of has a little bit of longevity to it because it's now posted electronically. There's a video of it. Hopefully it'll not fall on deaf ears. And this doesn't matter whether you are someone who, is really doing a $30 million, $100 million team. These are the things that helped me build my $100+ million team when I was a realtor. Well, I still am, but I'm saying when I was doing it for my day-to-day work. And so it's you can't, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is keep it simple, stupid. Let's go and look at the systems that we have set up today. The Mike and I talk about this all the time. Where did your business come from? And Nick, you brought it up, I think, last week. Where did this past year's business come from? If you don't have that knowledge to be able to say, well, I got 62 of them because I showed up at the booster for my kids' basketball event, or it was because of direct mail or because of whatever. My point is just simple. Don't overcomplicate this business. You can overcomplicate it. There's no misunderstanding there whatsoever. In fact, that's why 80% of real estate agents don't make it in the business, because they look at these other people. So my favorite comment is don't compare your insides to somebody else's outsides. And it's real important because just because they look like they're big rock stars in real estate, they could be just on a quick up pinnacle and down pinnacle. Sustainability is what you're looking for. But in the end, you're not in competition with anybody. You're really only in competition with yourself. So Michael Jackson's song Man in the Mirror, I love it because, it really just, again, basically lays it out there. If you're looking to make a change, forget in the world, let's just call it in your day-to-day life, then you have to look at yourself in the mirror and then make that change. You can have any lifestyle. You can have happiness. You can, if you're not happy, that's a choice. We always say, Mike, what's that comment that you always made? Something is, or I think Anthony Cucci started it. If you don't make a choice, that is a choice, or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's I don't.
Right.
It was something else.
Okay.
Probably.
Well,
not
I figured it
appropriate.
was, but oh well. All right. So anyway, again, like I said, this is going to be a you're going to get some meat out of this, but it's also going to be more of an overview of what you're going to get tomorrow, if you decide you'd like to come and see a little bit more. But you start with yourself. You always start with yourself. And your family and friends, they're the ones that typically overlook those things that annoy the living crap out of them, that you do or that I do. And yet, if you're humble enough and you can come up to them and you go, listen, I'm trying to better myself. I need you to be super honest with me, kind of like you would in a ChatGPT prompt. Tell me really what you think about what do I do that annoys you, and then learn about how you annoy people and try to stop doing that. Learn how to listen 3 times more than you talk. But again, go through that mental thing of looking at yourself first. And then, of course, you know me. I've been a DISC assessment fan for can't tell you how long. But the reality is, go to West USA DISC. It's on the next slide, westusadisc.com, and take this. It's free. It goes to the Tony Robbins website. You fill out the you fill out your name to create an account, and that's really it. There's no fee. You might get called once by them to see if you want coaching. You just say yes or no, or an expanded version. But the point is, this will let you know if you're wondering why. Here's the thing: if you're wondering why you're not successful, that's like becoming consciously aware that you're not as competent as you thought you were. And that's a good thing. I do this all the time. I mean, anybody who's really good at what they do doesn't really always think they're very good at what they do, but what they do is they basically own it. And they just say to themselves, how can I be better? I need to know me better before I can help anybody else. So, when you get that, this is the old DISC profile down here at the bottom. They used to have 4 charts, and now they give you this lengthy thing because they wanted to remove it from easy detection. They wanted you to have to sign up for the coaching in order to be able to learn who you were. So go take that, go to ChatGPT and Google, it's free. Upload your PDF that they send you into there, and then use this exact script here. So go back up there and put this script in and ask it to reevaluate it this way, and it'll give you the old-fashioned looking chart. It makes it super simple on people, and it also you can keep asking it more and more and more. Is this an activity? Like, for instance, let's say somebody comes up to you and says knocking on doors works 1 out of 10 times. So if you need to find 2 listings this week, go knock on 20 doors. But I don't mean knock on the doors, Mike. We all know, right? You have to have a real estate conversation with the person who answers, and they have to be of legal age. So, but it's not like dialing a phone number nobody picked up and you go, that's 1.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, it really does help in your business, understanding how you're wired. What activity do I like to do? What activity would I wake up every morning and not have a problem going and doing? For an introverted person or an S or a C, those people don't like to wake up in the morning and go meet people. But for a D and an I, for different reasons, they'll wake up in the morning and they're out the door because they understand their business relates to people, and the more people you find, the more business you're going to do. We have our coaching department, and I think this is so totally misunderstood. Coaching is someone who's there to help you succeed, not somebody who's there to tell you what to do. Coaching is all about you. It's you getting out of the box you're stuck in, and the coach themselves will help you identify what that parameter is. What is it that's limiting you or preventing you from hitting a home run? So the coaching system at West USA gives you the opportunity to have what I call a discovery meeting with our coach. So you go to the coach in your office, you go to your office manager, you see if there's somebody that they recommend pairing you with as a coach. But that person is there to help you identify what you need to do. Todd might want to do 30 deals this year, but Lynn, my wife, might want to do 8. And if I'm trying to teach her how to do 30 when she only wants to do 8, a lot of that's going to fall on deaf ears. So this economic chart that's in the coaching system material is there for you. You will receive this. They will do this in front of you with you giving them what your desired income level is. And then it will reverse engineer exactly how many people you're going to need to talk to at any one particular time. So for instance, you start this off in the top, you put in the number of closed units. You see on the right-hand side in that same black box, it says $162,000 with income. Wait a minute. Hold on, let's rewrap our heads for a second. Do you really need to earn $162,000? I mean, if you see the vision and you see the light, go do it. Think big. But at the same token, if you're not making $35,000 right now, building a plan that's going to get you to $162,000 might be a little aggressive for you. I mean, so in other words, if you put 6 in this category, I'll just do some quick math, you're going to earn $80,000 doing 6 closings at an average of $450,000, which, as you know, that's the median in the armless right now. So in essence, I think we are way overcomplicating, and we're not really doing the math to identify, what someone really needs to become successful and meet their bills. Let's just put it that way. Let's call it meet the bills that you have. And then furthermore, if you decided you want to expand your income and you're knocking out these things, then your coach will identify you're having better numbers. You're closing more. You're doing more. Maybe you're just showing up more. But whatever it is that you're identifying and the coach is identifying that you're doing, that's what you're going to end up double downing on. So you'd put in whatever your average sale price. It might be a particular neighborhood. Why are there two, average sale and average listing prices? Because you can pick your neighborhood you want to farm and the listings that you want to go after, but you can't pick the ones from the buyers. Buyers are going to come up and tell you what they want and the price range they can afford. But you might want to market at a $900,000 community, so you'd put $900,000 in this particular section right here. But again, coach should help you do this. Average sale price and closings, and you put the same number in. This can either be historical or just like I do, use the median if you don't know. Take my market stats. What is the average days on market? It was 81, 82 this morning, right? So you'd put 82 in that particular. What does that change? Well, look at the very, very bottom where it says average days on market, sellers, closed listings, inventory turn, average number of monthly listings required to achieve your goals. If you don't have two properties in active listing you have to have two properties active at any one time throughout the year for you to be able to allow the laws of
I have a quick question,
sure, yeah,
and I know this is a dirty
Yep,
word, so I'm going to refer to it as bananas.
Mhm.
So if
you
at
notice I cut them out.
the bananas,
Yeah, down at the bottom where it says times, and then in the yellow, the bottom yellows, I took the specific numbers out.
okay. So I just didn't know what number your the spreadsheet is basing it on.
Well, I would just say that if you think of what most people might be thinking is a reasonable compensation for someone, that's the number I was using.
Okay.
I wasn't putting in there a number that meant that you had to have so much area of specialty that you command more money for your services, nor am I anticipating you're an idiot and you're out there and you do a horrible job of real estate and and it's undervalued. So this is just a typical based on based on NAR statistical data that they're sending out on the reports. But good question. So that's the bottom yellow. So you only have the ability to change the items in yellow. The items in red you change up front. But again, I'm not teaching you to fill the sheet out really. I'm just telling you this is what you're going to receive when you go to coaching. So what ends up happening is it tells you, again, by your numbers, not from anybody else. This is what did you want to do this year? I wanted to close 12 units I put up there at the top in number one. Okay, well, if you notice annually on the left-hand side, it's telling you how you're going to get there. To the right-hand side of that annual, it says monthly. So on the seller side of the calculations, you need to find two sellers every single month that say to you they're interested in selling their home. That's all. Then out of that, you should be able to get one appointment. Out of that, you should be able to take that listing. The way the laws of averages work, you can't take 0.6, 0.8, so it's going to round up to the next number. But basically, if you find two people, you should walk away with one listing. Then, of course, you're going to get, and it's typical, list it and they will sell. Yes, we went through a marketplace that was, a little bit longer in marketing time, but now we're not. So we take a look at this, and you should sell that particular property. There is a 20% estimated fallout rate in escrow, but again, we're going to just anticipate that days were good. You did a good job in that one deal that you put in escrow closes. So that in itself would earn you $6,750. Well, hold on, what's that word way up at the top? Monthly. What's the word down at the bottom? The number $6,750 in just generalization. Would anybody not want $6,750 in income per month right now? Okay, well, wait a minute. We're not even talking about what's on the other side. Look on the right side. You have buyers. But look at that. You need to find 160 this year, or to the number to the right under monthly, 14 buyers who tell you, 14 people who tell you that they're interested in buying a home. This would be monthly. Then you're going to end up with 2 appointments. This is just a national statistic. 2 is 10%. You're going to end up with 2. Then you're going to have a conversation about buyer-broker agreements, and obviously one might not want to sign it, one might want to sign it. You have also the buyer-broker to show property document, so that's okay too. But this is entering into an actual representation agreement, an exclusive buyer-broker agreement. So you get that 1 out of the 2 of them, and then that person is going to be loyal to you because no matter how they do it, if they buy a house during that particular duration of time, you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
And then, of course, just because we used the same average sale prices up on the top left, we're getting the same revenue result at the bottom. But this is per month. So in all practical terms, if you found 2 people that were interested, said to you, I'm thinking of selling my home, and 14 people who engaged with you that said, hey, I might be interested in looking for a home, these are the numbers you're going to get. And to be able to sell one and list one, and then that deal to close. So the reality is here that, $10,000, $12,000 a month is not unrealistic if you just did 2, one listing and one buyer side. And then, so let me just finish going through these. So these are the monthly sides. These are the income sides annually. And then, of course, like I said, down here at the bottom, I didn't realize I had put some arrows in to this section. But this is what the days on market at the top represent. So how many listings do I have to have active at any one time if I really want to hit these goals and build it, and they will come? So, again, once you know how you're wired and you understand what activity, you still don't know what activity yet, but you know that I need to do something. And the next question usually in the back of your mind is, well, how do I get that? Well, I'm going to tell you. If I was getting into real estate today, understanding all of the things that I'm hearing all of you say, the difficulties, the market conditions, all of these things that you're using, I say we first because I'm part of you, but you are using to create your own personal obstacles of why you're not successful. If I listen to all those things, 80% of you belong on a team. Because if you're not able to wake up in the morning and go make your business show up, then you need to be on some kind of a program where somebody else is making that business show up, and they're counting on you to close that business. And of course, you're going to get a steep compensation split. They'll let you do your business probably for a higher split, but when it's them that they had to pay to generate, or their multiple years of experience have had to pay to generate that buyer or seller, well, usually it's a buyer. They don't give sellers to team members usually. But it's one of those things where that you're going to get that. They're expecting you to close that deal. They're expecting you to feedback. They're expecting you to call your team leader, and have conversations about how do I continue to maximize to close this deal. But that's being on a team. Or you could get a coach, and everybody says, oh, I don't want to pay a coaching fee. Well, guess what? If you're not closing anything, you're not paying anything, and you're also not eating, and your spouse is going to tell you need to get a job. I love the Nanny McPhee movie, because the reason at the end or somewhere in there when the kids want her to stay, her comment was something along, and I don't have it in my memory bank, but it's something like, when you want me, you can't have me. But when you don't want me, when you don't know you need me, I'll be here. And that's really what a coach is like. This coach isn't there to tell you how to run your business, to get into your stuff, and nor are they necessarily asking you to join their team. They're there to promote you, to help you get what you want faster.
Well, our saying's always, because I remember, and I won't get into the story, I got into it with an agent who just at the end of the day was really upset that they were being charged to have a coach who's giving up their time, right, and their income, and hadn't closed anything. And I said, listen, man, at the end of the day, 0 plus 0. I'm no math major, but 0 plus 0 always equals 0.
Absolutely. Yep, I love it. And of course, do it yourself, DIY. We all love that. That's what YouTube's for. Well, there's not really a good real estate training on YouTube to help you out. So again, there's a lot of resources that we have here at West USA for you. And my thing is always like this, the squeaky wheel is the one who gets the grease. If you need help, we aren't here to make you feel bad because you're not hitting your numbers, or that we think you're less of a real estate agent because you're not doing $100 million a year in volume. We care about you if your goal is to do 3 sales this year. It doesn't matter. If you want some help, that's what we're here for. But you have to reach out. I recommend reaching out to your office manager. They are brilliant. They know all these things that I'm talking about today and will be able to position you so that you can help money. But again, remember, you're not playing against anybody else. So don't start feeling bad when somebody else is saying they're selling houses and you're not. We need to help you figure it out. And that's what it's all about. We have to be honest with ourselves.
Well, I would say, yeah, I would agree with you. Don't feel bad if other people are selling houses. Take that as an encouragement that houses are being sold.
Good point. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not necessarily just the market. Like they have figured it out, and so you've got to figure it out. If nobody was selling houses,
yeah,
okay, then
different point.
Different point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good. So I'm not going to go through each of these, but you've heard Mike and I talk about these, Nick, for ad nauseum. But we got to stop referring to people. Mike, you did a great job today, and I want to commend you because I heard it. You no longer said your contacts, your database. You referred to people as human beings. You refer to them as yes, I do have a group of people who I've done business with. Yes, I have a group of family and friends, and they get different messages. Remember when he said that? So in essence, it's no longer, you're not talking about databases of people. That is so unfriendly. You might want to look at it if you have no relationship with those people, you could consider it that way. But here's just some quick rules. We'll go into it, like I said, tomorrow more. Sphere of influence, contact to contract ratios for every 6 people that you know. At the end of a year, if you're properly communicating with them, they should give you 1 sale per year, per 6 people in your database. Then we can look at it from this perspective. This is one of the pages that's in that the coach's material that they'll share with you if you go in the business planning session. But again, these numbers all carry over from the front. So if you're working with your personal sphere of influence and you weren't going to really do good at making them your ambassadors, you just had those people in your database. Look at the number on the right-hand side. 72 people in your database, if you're just properly using your CRM, should yield 2 transactions per month or 12 per year. Just this section based on ratio. But let's keep moving because we've run out of time. So farming direct email here is 50-1. So if you don't know people and you're just mailing stuff in the EDDM or a email campaign, typically the odds are a 50-1. So I'm not talking about one person is going to reply and say, hey, tell me more. I'm talking about a contract, actually making money. So that's 50-1. So do the math, and you can see, looking through that, you'd have to have basically 600 people that you're farming at any one time. So 7,200 touches a year of the 600 people will automatically, if this is the only thing you're doing, you'll close 12 deals this year based on statistics. So then we go into ambassadors. This is what Mike and I talk about ad nauseum. We talk about Michael Mayer. We talk about Brian Buffini. We talk about anybody who's really come to the realization that your business success is about the people that you know. And if you don't manipulate and work with those people, you've got nothing to sell when it comes time to sell your business. Your business sale, like an insurance salesperson, is how many times do people repeat business with me, and then you've tracked it and you can sell the track. That's what you're selling, is the track. And that's what determines what your money is.
And I know, let's go back to the other side.
Yeah.
I know we make fun of you all the time because you always bring up the 7 levels of communication.
I know.
But my personal opinion is it's the one book in real estate that every agent should read every single year. I probably reading it every other year. And I should do it every year because every time I read it or I do Audible, it's just a reminder. Or I'm at the point now where it's like the movie Airplane. Every time I watch it, I see a scene that I've never seen before. Right?
Yeah.
And I've watched it 32,000 times. And so I would just say, if you've never read it, buy it. Yeah. And if you have, just read it every year.
Yeah. There's some. All I'll tell you, I'll just leave you with this cliffhanger. An average Joe was able to become the top realtor in a community following that system. So just something to drag your teeth on. When you're dealing with, people that are referring people to you, look at that number 3. Imagine to get to your 12. Imagine that all you needed to do all year was find 3 people that would annually automatically come in contact with 5 people per year that are ready, willing, and able to do real estate. I mean, what would it take to befriend those 3 people to get them to come to that particular point of contribution for you? Or maybe it's 6 people because, you're just starting this program off. But whatever it may be, typically one person, for every one person they're going to come in contact with 5 people. Open houses, don't lose it, because open houses, they're working again. Mike had conversations about a couple of listings that he had, and he went on, and he had a buyer for a property. And, so buyers are still, and NAR says buyers are still touring homes. And if they have a comment in the NAR statistics that say that basically 12% of the people who tour your open house should do business with you. They should list with you or buy with you. And approximately 10 to 12% should list with you. So, or better yet, just say 25% of everybody who comes into my open house should do business with me. The question is, again, to Mike's looking in the mirror. If it doesn't, if they're not,
well,
then,
I think with open houses, and
and
I know we're up against the clock. The thing with open houses is that there's always 2 types of agents: agents that think that open houses are awesome and it works for them, and agents that say open houses are a waste of time. Mm-hmm. And for me, open houses, it's a waste of time if you don't know how to do an open house, and you don't have the proper systems, and you don't know what to say when somebody walks in and so forth. Because the agents that do, I mean, man.
Well, I put it right at the very bottom.
Learn how to master.
Learn how to master the open house, and start off by going to a new home community and asking a new home sales agent to provide you with a feature benefit demonstration on a particular product they have. Okay, and this just shows you the open houses. This is a little different, but again, if you were to, for all practical purposes, hold those 12 open houses, or you expected 12 people from each of the open houses, again, it will show you how you can generate those numbers.
I don't want to. I mean, I should probably get permission from him, but I was talking with Ryan Reed the other day, and they have this agent, and I'm totally. If Ryan, if you're listening, we're stealing this from you. But his new agents, they got to do 100 open houses in 100 days.
Oh, wow.
And he said you'd be amazed because the first 30 days, it's tough, and they have the same results as every other, but then they begin to learn how to overcome those objections. And I'm like, man.
But you throw them in the fire, throw them in the water, teach them to swim. Again, that actually does work. And there was a Realtor magazine. You might be able to still research it. Her name was Susan. She was a Florida agent. She just came out of real estate school. She went to work for a broker. She was dying. She went to work for broker number 2, and the broker said to her, "Listen, go hold an open house every single day. Find an open house." Now, again, there's an art to what open house, and as Mike said, you got to learn how to do it right. But she did that. At the end of her first year in real estate, she sold 103 homes. Yeah. And it really was just because of that. Okay, know your market. You've got to know. If somebody comes up to you and say, "What's the least expensive 3-bedroom home out there on the marketplace?" You need to know. I don't care where it's located. If it's in, Maricopa, if it's in, Ajo, not really. Greater Phoenix Metro. You need to know the least expensive 3-bedroom, because that's what gets people out of the couch and out of the basement of their parents' homes. 3-bedroom, 1,300 square foot homes and larger, because the rooms are bigger and they usually have a great room. 4-bedroom homes, least expensive property out there. 4-bedroom plus 2,000 plus. Why? Secondary bedrooms are 12 by 12, and they usually include a family room for the difference in the square footage. 5-bedroom big box. But you need to have this go, and this report from MLS dumped into your lap every single Friday. And then that way you share it with your team, you share it with yourself. And now when you're having conversations with people, you physically know exactly where each of these properties are. Might not be where they want, but you can shut them up when they say, "Well, there's no such thing as a $490,000 4-bedroom home." Yeah, there is. Action planning. So everything ends with this, and it really does. I have more slides, but I'm not going to. I don't think. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Maybe
you got one more.
Okay, this. Maybe I made them through. But the action planning concept is, that the thing that says if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, is only partially right, because a plan gives you gauges to evaluate your success. You're moving forward. And what is success? Success is I'm doing something better today than I did yesterday. That's my definition of success. And then of course your volume to be able to pay for your livelihood, that also equals whether this is the right career for you. But you have to have a plan. And this plan is not a business plan. This is I wake up in the morning and what am I going to do? Some of my best agents that were working on my real estate team were single parents. Because they couldn't come to work until 8:30 because they had to drop their kids off at school at 8:15, and they had to leave at 3:30 because they had to go pick up the kids from school. So think about it. These people entered brand new, and they left being some of the most successful people in the company. Why? Because they're on purpose, because they only have 5 hours to do this. Versus if you have all day, it's easy to procrastinate the day away. But when you know you got kids that you just dropped off and now you're kind of singing hallelujah because you got some peace of mind, and then you can jump into real estate, do something that's going to matter in your life, whether it's secondary income or your major income. But I will tell you, I was a single dad for 9 years, raised 3 daughters. They were 5, 9, and 10 when I became the full custodian of them. And I can tell you that it's difficult. I totally appreciate what anybody who's a stay-at-home parent has to go through. Been there, done that. But I will tell you this, they're some of the hardest working people because they know they have limited time to be able to get involved. So, take that into consideration. This also explains to you can go back into it, and this explains a little bit of that. The first thing you need to think about is when you're planning your calendar for next year is, how do you unwind? How do you make life worthwhile? How do you make life worth living? Well, the only way we accomplish those things is if we get to do what we want to do a couple of times a year. So whether that's vacationing, if it's at the beach, if it's, going to Mexico, whatever it might be, all I'm saying is you got to plan that time first. Then plan the time that you want to show up at your kids' soccer events or after school, sporting events. And then real estate gets planned around that. It's not the other way. You don't plan your life around your business. You plan your business around your life. That's basically what we'll talk about. We'll go deep into the action plan. So when you do leave tomorrow, you will be able to implement everything we talked about.
Really good stuff. So I just can't help but think there's some people going, oh, well, it's all the way over in Mesa. And if you got that, I'm just saying, if that's your mentality. But,
or get your office manager.
Really good stuff. Again, Todd's going to be at the Mesa office tomorrow between 10 and 12. Was it?
Between 10 and 12.
Between 10 and 12. So just go to your dashboard, go on the calendar. And again, if you're not with West USA, you're more than welcome to join us. I'm sure Todd would love to have you. Just go to westusacalendar.com. Leave you with the quote of the day. It always seems impossible until it's done. Go out, go home.